Good day to you. Today we're talking about books we did not finish, DNF, and I'm taking part in this tag at the invitation of Ange with an E. So thank you very much, Ange. She's already recorded her very gracious video where she's kind to even the authors whose books she abandoned, and then she threw the gauntlet over to me.
Simon from BookTube with Simon.
Told you so. So please check out her video and check out her channel and get to know her a bit. We are going to carry on the conversation right here on BookTube with Simon, which I realise after hearing somebody else say it, it's a terrible, terrible and unimaginative name, but we're stuck with it now. I've done the logo. So we're going to talk about DNF, and the timing is great because I just about a week ago abandoned this. God's Behaving Badly by Mary Phillips. They are behaving badly, but unfortunately they are written badly, characterised badly, plotted badly. The whole thing is just bad, and I've been trying to decide whether or not to even do a review of it because it's so bad that even my review bored me. Like, I just couldn't make it interesting. It bored the pants off me. So this is a good little get out where I can acknowledge and put on the record I started this, I abandoned it, it sucks. It really, so there we go, it's forgotten. I had visions of the camera getting a smack. So let's crack on with the DNF tag. No, as a rule I don't DNF very often. I take it as something of a personal failure if I don't make it to the end of a book. I tend to persevere even when I am so bored, I am crying tears of blood. I feel like I need to keep going. And I think that has been instilled in me by my second year English teacher, who was like a wrinkly version of Gail Platt. And she was horrified at the notion of anybody giving up on a book, and that stuck with me. But having said that, I am aware that I am getting old. I am accumulating books faster than I am reading them, and if I plan to read the rest of my collection before I die, then I really need to be a bit more brutal. So having just tossed that one away, I am going to begin. This is the beginning of a new era, a new regime, where if you do not interest me by 100 pages, you are out. Be warned. If you don't finish the chips, does the fish supper count in your calories for the day? I guess it depends why you're counting. So if you are trying to read a certain number of books in a period of time, then I would say no, it doesn't count, because abandoning 100 books after the first page is not the same as having read 100 books. So if that is your goal, I would say no. However, if you are asked, have you read this book, and your answer is, well, I started to and then realised it would be actually a more enjoyable evening if I stuck my head in the washing machine and did a spin cycle, then yes, I think that is valid. You can give an opinion on it. So it would depend on the reason, but if it's purely to say how many books have you read, no, doesn't count. There is no difference between putting it down for a bit and DNFing, because you've NF'd it, haven't you? But because I don't really do that, if I put a book down and start reading another, it's because it has been DNF'd. I don't tend to jump and chop and change. But I guess the exception to that could be if I want to read a specific book at a specific time for a specific reason, which does happen, then plan A will be to emergency read the book before it as fast as possible, abandoning sleep, abandoning personal hygiene, eating, and any form of social interaction until I get to the end of that book. But in extremis and in extreme circumstances, I might hit the pause button. For example, when we got married, my wife and I chose a book each to be the first book we read married, and so if it came down to it, I would have abandoned my final bachelor book prior to the wedding to take that on time. So the unclear answer to the very clear question is no unless yes, in which case sometimes. Like I say, I haven't DNF'd very many books, but I did DNF A Clockwork Orange. Even though I understand it is a hugely important book and part of our literary heritage, and there are many an essay written on it, the fundamental problem for me is I just didn't understand a word of it. You pick it up and it just goes. I also DNF'd The Gunslinger by Stephen King, which looked fantastic until you started to read it and then discovered it was really boring. And we had a friend who is an evangelist for the series, and we said, look, this is shocking. And he said, he's from the West Coast, so he said, it's shocking, eh? But it gets better halfway through the second book of the series. The second book of the series. Listen, son, my 40th birthday is coming towards me like a big 10-ton cartoon thing. It's Roadrunner. There is no way I am going to read 2 entries of a series to even get to the good bit. It wasn't a complete waste though, because near the beginning of the book there's a part where they're walking in this sort of horrible wasteland, and it said the grass had all gone to Timothy, and I understand that Timothy is a type of grass, but at the time I had no idea about this, and I just thought it was some sort of eccentric phrase for when things have gone wrong, just going, it's all gone to Timothy. It's all gone to Timothy. It's all gone to Timothy. I love getting new books. It's all gone to Timothy. The book I have effed that I wish I had DN'd, it has to be 50 Shades of Grey, actually, because I was one of these people who was insulting it when it came out and giving them a hard time for reading it. Absolutely disgraceful, without having read it myself. And so this lady that I worked with, who was a big fan of the book, gave me the annoying but ultimately fair feedback that I can't insult it unless I've actually read it. You can't criticise what you haven't read. And so I did, and it's the only time I've ever read a book on a Kindle, I can tell you that. I had to read it to the end so that I could offer my insightful critique. It sucks. It's about as erotic as chucking a chocolate finger in the loo. Anna is the most irritating character committed to paper. Thingamajig Christian Grey is just about as bad. The writing sucks. One of the lines that has stuck with me all these years is that the lift travelled at terminal velocity, and well, clearly it wasn't terminal velocity, was it? Because we still had another 250 pages of your wittering. Admittedly, I did enjoy the bit where they were all getting slapped about, but that was only because I really wanted to get involved and do some slapping about of my own. Stop writing, stop writing, stop! Not a fan. I didn't read the second or third entries in the series. One was quite enough. And I gave my very detailed feedback to my then colleague, who took it on the chin. I keep them, actually. In fact, just to prove it, I do keep them, unfortunately. I don't know why. I think it's just because I guess I like having the record of having attempted the book, even if I didn't finish it. And then I just glare at them sometimes. You are a disappointment. You let me down. Oh, I finished that. Oh, I'm going to have to go and find B. Where's B? Still got Clockwork Orange. Here it is. Clockwork Orange. Still got it. No, it was bad enough the first time. Why would you go through it again? Because I do it so rarely, it needs to be extremely bad to the point that there is no coming back from it. So no, I wouldn't go back again. Once I hate you forever. You are dead to me. That is a good question, and I think probably I'll buy a risky title, but then when I go to choose what one to read, I guess I'm a bit more conservative. So if I do implement my Scotch death policy of 100 pages and gone, then I think it will enable me to take some more risks, which I'm excited about. So watch this space. This has been the DNF. This has been BookTube. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you, Ange, for an E for involving me in the chat. Do you DNF? If not, why not? If so, how so? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you on the next review. Thanks very much. Bye-bye. Sachet away.